Now, onto the news. Harada was on the stream during the last day of the location test. Flying Wonky has got a whole translation of all the stuff he talked about, and a lot of it is really good info. So if you guys are interested at all in what the Tekken project team is trying to do with this game, or just their thoughts in general about the system mechanics of this and the location test, I really recommend checking it out. The full text is in the video description below. You guys can check that out when you have some free time. But let me tell you some of the highlights for me. Number 1. The game is currently running at 60% of the graphical quality output. The lighting on all the characters are not yet finished. The background environment in the stages have no lighting at all. So basically, yes, the game will look prettier. Number 2. The Unreal Engine is being rebuilt to add more costumes, arts techniques, character poses, etc. into the game. Basically, more everything, less old stuff. Good news. Number 3. The latest build of Tekken 7 is a lot more advanced than the one at the location test. The build being used in this location test is from 2 months back. So basically we're looking at a game that's had 2 months more work already put into it. So what we're seeing here is obviously a little bit older. Number 4. The sparks and hit effects are currently set to maximum level in the location test build. Harada hasn't really received much negative feedback about the sparks bothering the players too much. So it looks like it's not going to be more than this. As I said, I'm a Killer Instinct player. The sparks used to be really crazy in that game, and I honestly stopped even noticing them. Number 5. We're experimenting with how effective the Power Crush moves should be, as well as the damage the Rage Arts do in the location test. Good news. I expected that. Of course it is a location test. These are new system mechanics that they've introduced, and they want to see how it plays out. So yeah, expected it, but still, good news. Number 6. Kazuya's code in Tekken 7 is really taxing on the processing side. Really not that important, but I'm so glad that is in the game. Please give us more new costumes, please. Number 7. Making more costumes and items really increases the production costs. We have a budget that is 1/4 of that which we had back in Tekken 5. The team is hard at work developing, but they can't help it if the team doesn't have enough funds to make everything. I don't know, man. I mean, first of all, the budget thing totally sucks. I mean, that just gives you an idea of where, Tekken is right now. And I personally would just say, you know what, screw items, screw customization, just make new default costumes. I mean, personally in Tag 2 as well, I really did not care to see 2 characters customized the same way. Like, that to me is not important. I would rather just see good costumes for each of the characters. Number 8. Holding back on the stick during Paul's Rage Art alters the Ender part of it. You can choose to let the Rage Art play normally or hold back during it, and Paul will not do the Death Fist finisher. If you don't do that Ender, you can replace it with your own combo. So yeah, no one knew this obviously, and so that means Rage Arts will not always look the same, or at least potentially will not always look the same. And who even knows what this will do to the damage output or the combo potentials after it. So I think that's a fantastic feature. It's something about Rage Arts that nobody even knew was possible. But yeah, I mean, it's we're just gonna have to wait for the next location test to find out more about it and see if anyone's able to pull something off. Number 9. We're maybe thinking of doing time release characters in Tekken 7. Personally, I love time release. I was so sad that it disappeared. For those of you guys who don't know what time release is, when the game used to come out in arcades before, you would only get a core set of characters, maybe say 16 or something. And then every 2 weeks or something in the arcade, based in the arcades, I think the clock built into the machine board and the calendar system in it, I think it would, on certain dates and times, it would say, okay, now this character is released. And it would unleash one character, whatever that cycle was, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. So every 2 weeks you'd come back and it'd be a new character unveiled. And if they do this, in this way where we don't even know the full roster, it's going to be really exciting and really hyped to see those characters be unveiled. So I really hope that they do go the time release route. Number 10. This one's a big one. I'm going to paraphrase it as much as possible, but here we go. Harada feels that Tekken players aren't really devoted only to Tekken types of players. He says there's not many people with deep emotional attachments to the characters. There's also not a lot of players that will be overly defensive of the Tekken series against anti-Tekken opinions. He said that a lot of people rate Tekken Tag Tournament 2 pretty high, giving it a high metascore. However, the team doesn't hear a lot of the non-core players that don't rate Tag 2 as highly. He says that we, and I guess by we he means the Tekken project team, cannot continue going on by just dedicating the game to the core level of Tekken players. It's pretty easy for them to appeal to core players, is what he says. And he says if the team only took the good feedback from players in the Tekken series, we might still be playing a game that's very Tekken 4-like. And what he means by that is that if, you know, the people who like Tekken 4, is that if that's all they heard of, then they'd be like, okay, cool, yeah, let's make another Tekken 4 then. But all the people who didn't like it, they hadn't said something, and if the team hadn't listened to that feedback, then, you know, we'd obviously still be playing a game like Tekken 4. So he says there's a lot of players that consider Tekken Tag 2 the best Tekken game, and he says the feedback from these players is something to be wary of. Harada finds that players that consider either Tekken 3, 5, or 6 the best Tekken game have the best reasoning. Personally, I like 3, 5.0 is one of my favorites, and so is 6. So I have the best reasoning. Boom. But Harada wants to hear from all sorts of people on their thoughts about playing Tekken games, not just the people that are already fans of the series. And you know, this to me is very revealing, and it shows, you know, just where Tekken is. You know, specifically the line, let's see, where was it? He said, we cannot continue going on by just dedicating the games to the core level of Tekken players. So if you guys are wondering why there's rage arts now, why there are power quest moves now, this is why. You know, this is the state of Tekken as it is today, and something drastic needs to happen, basically. Number 11. After hearing a lot of feedback, they're getting rid of the rage system that was used before. It had too much of a terrible reputation in Japan and overseas. It was an appeal to the silent majority, and during the time of Tekken 6, a lot of the young generation of players like high school students and college students got into the game. And so the comeback mechanic for allowing these new players to pull off great comebacks was thought to be necessary for these players at the time. That to me is really surprising, because the new rage arts, it really can only be used at the end of your life bar, which basically limits it to only being used as a comeback mechanic. So I don't know what that was really about, but if they're trying to get rid of comeback mechanics, I don't think their current implementation of rage arts is the way to do it. And finally, last, the Tekken team, likes to work on removing things in the games that people really hated. It's not really interesting for the development team to just hear all the good feedback all the time. So personally, I'm going to give them some feedback right now. I just don't want the weird stuff to keep happening. You know, like Tekken Tag 2, you know, the wall tag stuff would happen, and that's fine. You know, we don't have tags at the wall anymore. But, you know, stuff like Core Circle Forward 1 from Fang, where he's like crouching down, he goes underneath someone's leg, or stuff like Heihachi Forward 2 would also see stuff like that happen. I like to see those kind of things removed from the game, even though I don't even know if that's possible. And of course, Harada said, you know, if you guys have any feedback for him, hit him up on Twitter. You know, he really values the feedback on Twitter, so follow him, guys, at Harada_Tekken. So that about wraps things up, guys. I'm Rip. You guys can follow me at Twitter at REEPAL. Please subscribe to the channel if you don't already do so. Send this video out to your friends if they have any issues with thinking that there's no bound in this game. And I will catch you guys next time. Boom!